Hello, everybody. We are with the one and only Mizz June.
Hi.
Yes.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on?
I'm chilling and stuff.
I haven't seen you in that long.
It's been years.
When's last time I saw you was at an
event for the community.
Yes, it was a Trans Day of Remembrance
event.
Yes, in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Where I'm from.
Yes, that was my first time meeting you, and the last time I saw you.
Yes.
So I'm really, really happy to be having you here again.
Thank you.
So many wonderful ladies. Y'all about to do the damn thing. So first off, we're gonna jump right into the meat.
Let's get it.
I saw that you are featuring Black trans media in this show, Fierce NYC, Miss Major.
Yes.
Can we expect this show to be politically charged?
Extremely politically charged.
Tell me more.
I feel like as an artist, I can't ignore what's happening in politics. I can't ignore what's happening right now socially. I don't like to call myself an activist. I know there are a lot of people who are like, I'm an artivist. And I'm like, that's cute for you. Like, I get that.
Right.
But like, for me, that's not all that my art is.
Right.
I feel like me just being Black and trans and a woman is activism in itself. Like, I have to be an activist. I have to be aware. I have to every day wake up, struggle and strive and pretty much talk myself into being my better self on a daily basis. You feel me? So I'm bringing that authenticity to the stage. And that's all I can say.
So tell me more about what has your journey been like as an artist? I feel like you and I we never really got a chance to like really delve into the that's what I want to hear. What has your journey been as an artist?
So my journey has been, as an artist, has been very, very mutable, very changeable. Like I began in theater. I'm the child of two artists, actually.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Okay.
LES.
Whoop whoop.
LES, what it do? And I'm the child of two artists, a musician and an actor turned teacher. Well, my mother was a model, then an actor, then a teacher. Okay. So I'm the child of artists. Cool. And growing up, like I was put in music classes and theater classes, and they were like, "You excel at all." So we're gonna try to figure out what you like. Right. And I kind of like musical theater. Yeah. And not just like, it's just so extravagant and so extra. Right. I mean, I felt like that kind of fit me. Right. Kind of, just a little, because I give a little extra, just a little extra.
Oh, by the way, we did not coordinate these outfits. We just happened to be wearing like we're both wearing white. And yes, I'm living for this.
I was gonna rock my blue hair, but I was like, no, my scalp needs to like fucking breathe a little bit.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Real.
Like shit needs to like not be.
Yeah. Oppressed. Yeah.
No more oppression. So anyway, okay. So for musical theater, I got into activism with Fierce. I'm one of the original founding members of Fierce.
When it was in the J2 building? No.
When it was, so I had just finished doing this project with Fierce. Actually, Fierce started in the Lower East Side originally at another organization, out of an issue that we were having, the youth were having with that organization around safety and space and safe space for TLGBTQ youth in the space.
I'm dying to ask you what program this was. You don't have to say anymore.
Nah. I mean, off camera, we could talk.
We'll
talk off camera. But, because fences were mended. So I wouldn't, for me to like say names, it would just be grimy.
I'm just a nosy bitch.
They know who they are. They know who they are. And so from there, I think it was like, if I remember correctly, it was 8 of us. Yeah. And Jesse Aronsaf-Tawley, who was the original like executive director.
And he's with Global Action Project.
Yeah, now. And all of us, we made our demands, and our demands weren't met, so we were like, we're out. Yeah. And that's how Fierce started. And then it connected with the Neutral Zone. Right. And then there was a new wave of young people.
Oh my gosh, that is a throwback.
Yes, and it was a new wave of young people. Yeah. And so like the wave just started happening and picking up speed and more. And so it went from that organization to the Neutral Zone. And then from the Neutral Zone, it got its first it went downstairs and it got its first office on 14th Street in the basement. And then from there, I believe it moved to Ma and Jay's building. And then from there, it moved to where it is now in the Bronx.
Right.
So.
Right. And where did your artistry lie in all of this?
I think when I was an activist,
right,
my artistry kind of got lost a little bit.
Interesting.
I was trying to find my voice in a community out of anger, out of frustration, out of feeling like I was not being heard. And so a lot of my creativity, like, it was placed into different ideas, but it was stifled because of the culture of the nonprofit industrial complex.
Right.
And so I was pretty much butt fucked.
Right.
Trains were runneth uponeth me by various different organizations.
So your dream was deterred. Your dream was deferred.
It was no crystal stair, sis.
Okay.
It was no motherfucking crystal stair. And so I had to go from activism
right.
And return back to my roots of artistry.
Right.
I started together a punk rock band called the Housewives.
Okay.
And then I got over calling them the Housewives, and I wanted to be Mizz June in the Housewives, and I think that's what broke up the band in addition to other things.
Okay.
And then from there, it was punk rock meets Riot Girl. So, because I had been writing poetry all the time, and I just felt like jumping from activism back into musical theater wouldn't make any sense. So I was like, I've always loved punk rock, let me get some of this aggression out in this way.
Right.
And that didn't work. So I was like, okay. And then I moved from there to rapping.
Interesting.
And house music.
Okay.
And I was like, this feels right. And that's where I'm at now.
So, okay.
In addition to the acting.
So many more questions. One, how did your name come to be?
That's a beautiful question. So I used to be called Junebug back in the day. And I got the bug cut off.
Okay.
And I kept the June.
Okay.
And then I grew up and I became, a woman.
Yeah.
And it, for me, solidified my womanhood. I'm Miss June, Ms. June.
Yeah.
But also Mistress June. It's kind of like a shortened. Yeah.
I'm here for all of that.
Mistress June. Because it's me stepping into my womanhood and asserting my female power, my femme power, my trans female power. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
femme queen.
Yes, exactly. That femme queen. Emphasis on the motherfucking queen.
Yes.
And so I was toying with that name, and then I met Miss Major in 2009.
Okay.
And I was like, from the very time we met, I was like, it was just an instant connection. And I was like, that's solidified for me. Mizz June is going to be my stage name.
Right.
Boom.
So I had to take a listen before this interview.
Okay.
And I have so many questions about the process, of course, but I just want to hear from you, War Call, the single.
Oh, wow.
Tell me more about it.
Okay.
Tell me more about it.
Whew. Bitch, you asking all these questions. Oh, bitch. Okay. I live for it. I live for it. War Call was me being, again, upset about my surroundings. I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about my shit.
Right.
And I'm sensitive about my energies. I'm very spiritual.
Yeah.
And I felt the unrest. It happened in 2016, with the Elon Nettles ruling, the presidential election with Trump, and everything else that had been said.
Yeah.
And I was tired.
Yeah.
I was very fucking tired. Like, I didn't want to go back into activism.
Yeah.
Well, not activism, but the nonprofit world,
Right.
because those are two very different, distinct things. I didn't want to go back into the nonprofit world, but I felt like I would be doing myself and my community and other people a disservice if I wasn't to talk about what I see.
Exactly.
So that's how War Call came about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Where am I? Wow, we're getting through these questions. How do you feel being a Black trans woman has impacted your ability to create, or to, or do you feel like it's impacted?
In what way?
Loaded
like my
question,
art?
right?
It's a
Loaded
very because
question.
it could go in so many different directions.
You know, I feel like you kind of touched on it earlier. Like and I feel like it's really common for the girls. I feel like for trans women to I guess be tokenized in a way in nonprofit in the nonprofit world, in the social service world, in the activist world, and although these worlds are different, like they do have these intersectionalities, and like you're creative, right?
Yes,
and this is what fuels you, this is what drives you,
yes,
right?
Yes,
so I guess my question really is, how has your identity as a Black trans woman impacted your ability to create art and sustain your joy?
Well, I see my Blackness as a gift.
Work, Blackness.
I see I always say that I kind of fluctuate, like I go in between being a Black girl and being a trans woman of African descent, because like I feel like all of us within the African diaspora are so fucking gifted. Like we have a natural, innate gift that it's like the melanin has like blessed us with like the ability to interweave spirituality with music, with just everything. And I think my awareness of self and my awareness of what's happening around me and how myself and my identity impacts that or is related to that impacts my art. It really guides what I need to be doing. And not everything, that's a reason why I don't like to label myself as an artivist, because not everything that I write about is gonna be about activism. You know what I mean? Like I am a multi-dimensional woman. I'm a multi-dimensional artist. I don't just rap, I sing, I act, you know what I mean? So like I can't be a one-dimensional artist. Because that wouldn't make sense. Because I'm not a one-dimensional person. So, I mean, I just go with the flow. You know what I mean? And I do what I feel. Like at that time, I felt angry. I felt very angry and more so hurt because, you know, when me and a bunch of other folks had been a part of Fierce when I was a kid. Homeless kid, teenager, young. And, I had learned about Amanda Milan. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't know Amanda
but
Milan.
She was, this was at a time like in the like Y2K era. She was a trans woman who got her throat slit by Port Authority. Guys were trying to holler at her, you know where Escalita used to be at. You know how these motherfuckers are. Like they was, you know. And she didn't feature. And so they clocked her. And the guy who was hollering went over to her and slit her fucking throat. And as she bled out, people were laughing, people were joking, and I went from being this sheltered kid in the Lower East Side to being a homeless young person in these streets, because a lot of the youth shelters were in that area, learning about this. This was my introduction to the world. So I think the question was, what was the question? I'm just getting off on a tangent.
It's really it's entirely about how you feel like your identity as a Black woman has impacted your work. Or hindered.
War Call. We were talking about War Call as well. So that experience made me really angry and scared and bitter and combative. It put me into survival mode.
Yeah.
And it was happening more and more often. And not just that, but like, you know, in the media, the only thing that trans women were on was Jerry Springer, you know what I mean, at the time. So it was an era where I felt like me being myself was not going to bear any positive fruit. And since then, a lot of things have changed. Yeah. Well, I grew up for one. Yeah. And, you know, trans women are saturating the media. But things are not changing in terms of the death rates of trans women. Yeah. And, you know, a bunch of trans women have been murdered since Amanda Milan. But I think it was the Elon Nettles situation and the fact that it happened not too far from me in Harlem. And that the guy got what, like 6 years, max? Maybe 12? For murdering someone with his hands, with his bare fucking hands, yo, like.
What advice would you give to young Black trans artists coming into themselves, coming up? Because they're out there. Yeah. Those generations are out there. They're coming in and they're coming in hard. What advice would you give them?
Do it for the healing, not for the fame. Do it for the healing, not for the fame. Because so many girls, they see that.
Gotta write that down. Where's my pen?
They see that there's an opportunity for a platform. Yeah. And that you have like your Laverne Coxes and your Janet Mox. Yeah. And so they're like, oh, I have a chance, I have a shot, so I'm gonna step on this bitch to get to that, from point A to point B. And the reality is, you just defeated the entire purpose of what healing means for us as a community. So instead of trying to step on the next bitch to get to that point, use your heart.
She's gagging me. Come see the show. It's gonna be a tearjerker. Oh, that hit me.
Use your heart to heal. Yeah. Because that's what I'm doing. Yeah. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing the work.
It's beautiful. Where can folks find your work? It's that real. Where can folks find your work?
Do you mind if let me give you.
Aw, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Fuck cheating the camera. Fuck all that bullshit. We having a real session right now. Yeah.
Where can folks find your work? Social media handles.
Oh gosh, I'm so not a social media person like that. I just do it for the art and then like log off. Yeah. But my Instagram is the one, the only Mizz June, I think. My Twitter is Mizz June Music. I do the Twitter for the kikis and the ha-has and shits and giggles. My Facebook page, now that's a page that I actually like interact with people with a lot. The number one, the only Mizz June. Okay. Yeah. But you can find it. It's a fan page. Okay. Mizz June. M-I-Z-Z-J-U-N-E.
M-I-Z-Z-J-U-N-E. Yes.
June, like a bee, buzz. Yes. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. You needed some healing too, didn't you?
Yes, God, girl.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.